Let's see here. There we go. Get it nice and close. All right, guys, what's happening? Welcome, everybody who's tuned in. Check out the Paint with Josh show. I'm going to show you everything we're going to do today. So most people, they always ask, how'd you do this? How'd you get the canvas? Almost dropped them, you see that? How'd you do this part? How'd you do that part? So I'm going to show you every single thing on the Monday and Friday shows, which are on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok. So let's get our gloves on. We have our 18 by 24 inch canvas up here, right? All we did was took it out of the package, put it right up onto the easel, and locked it down into place. And then we're gonna have a lot of fun as we come through and paint it. We're just gonna do a little cold blue scene, couple colors, just like that. We've got our Van Dyke brown, Prussian blue, Phthalo blue, Alizarin crimson, midnight black, and titanium white, just like that. I mean, fantastic. So, in order to make our canvas ready to paint on, we need to use, there goes my dryer going off. We need to use Bob Ross liquid white to cover the canvas and make it wet, right? In order to do wet on wet, you have to have a wet surface to put our wet paints on, right? So let's get our liquid white on. And normally when I shake it up in the jar, it's just about, I mean, for a 16 by 20 anyway, just about enough to cover the whole canvas. So all we're doing for the next few minutes anyway is gonna put on a little bit of liquid white all over our canvas from one side to the other side. So if you already know how to do this part, go get your popcorn ready, get your canvas out, get your stuff set up and ready to go, and we'll get up here and we'll just start laying out all this liquid white. Now, you can see we're not globbing it up there. You want to put, I've already used the majority of the stuff in the lid. So I'm going to dip into the jar just a little bit, right? Don't need a whole lot. It's very runny. Okay? It could fall out of the brush at any moment, so you don't need a whole lot. And then kind of dump some over here, over there. Pick it up over here, put it down here, right? And then we're just gonna kind of mush them all together until we have a nice wet surface that's completely even across the whole thing, right? So it's very globby over here, so we're gonna stretch it out. Bam, 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 bam. Right now we can start flinging it. It won't fly off our brush. There we go. What I like to do is get up next to the side of the canvas and make sure you got every single little bit. Just looking at the side. Oh, by the way, brand new Paint with Josh hats available in the store. Gray and black. It's probably my absolute favorite color combination that I've tried on so far. And we have more than gray and black. We've got black and yellow, black and purple, black and red, all white, all red, all black, all green. So lots of cool different colors if you want your own Paint with Josh hat. All right, look at these guys. We got black and purple, we got white, black and red, ba-boom. And there's another white and the black and yellow. So I plan on giving away a couple of these. We'll do another giveaway soon. We'll do a hat giveaway, it's gonna be fantastic. Now make sure your canvas is nice and covered. And remember, if you wanna go and get your own Paint with Josh hat and get your, show your Paint with Josh support, then go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com. And you'll be able to find the store like that, search for the hats, or search clothing, and you'll be able to find all the shirts and hats and everything else that we offer. Everything you can wear is in the clothing section. There we go. Now we're going to clean off our brush. Get it nice and dry again. Now all we're doing, since I'm going to show you every single thing anyway, right? I've already dipped it in and then I've spun it off, and I'm going to show you the level is about right here. So even though it looks like we're dunking the entire brush in the jar, it's not full, right? You want to have a good amount of space in between here so that when you pull it out, it's all drippy and wet. You can spin it inside the cup, kind of flinging all the excess around the cup, and then it'll fall back down inside. And then it won't be dripping all over the place, but you still have to shake it out of the brush into a trash can, and then bring out the old beater bucket. Look at that guy. Old nasty bucket with a golf ball basket down in the bottom, right? Gross old thing. I told myself in the beginning of when I started painting, I was like, I've already spent, I don't know, $200, $400 on the brushes and the paints and the canvases and all this stuff to get ready. And then I go, how am I going to clean my brushes? And I go, oh my goodness, I got to buy another thing? No, I'll go out in the garage and I'll look and I'll see, what can I find? What can I use? And I found that golf ball basket, and I was like, well, I guess when I get better, I'll buy the proper brush cleaning kit thing. Still 4 years later, got the same old nasty bucket. So, you don't need a whole lot is what I'm saying. Now, let's come in here. We've got our brushes nice and cleaned and ready to go. We're going to come into our blue colors. and start from the outside. I'm going to use the lighter blue on one side, which is our phthalo blue, and as we start to bring it down, look at how easily it slides across the canvas because we made the canvas nice and wet, right? When it's nice and wet, everything slides more easily, doesn't it? So we come in here like that a little bit. We're going to leave an open space so our clouds can interact. Now, without washing the brush, we're going to come right into our phthalo blue color, which looks black. I mean, it looks like the black color does, but it's a very, very, very dark blue, right? Get those little bits to mix on there. It gets a little darker hue to the corner of the canvas, and then we're going to start coming up and making it darker and darker and darker anyway, so doesn't very much matter. Now, you can sit and crisscross and do all the things that you want to do beforehand, or you can do it afterwards. I like doing it once all the color is on the canvas. So let's come into our black, just like that. Oh, the black with a little blue. Got to have a little blue in it too. We're going to come down underneath here. Look at the difference in all those colors, right? 3 different colors on the canvas already, and if we don't work them too hard, then they'll stay kind of separated from each other, have those nice little differences in color, right? But if you've ever wondered, how come when I'm doing my, and let's just redo what we did on the bottom, right? So our phthalo blue, and pull it in from the side. But you're sitting there wondering, how come my clouds mix in with all of my blue when I go to do my clouds? They just mix in, they're no longer white anymore. Well, you gotta leave a good section of white so it doesn't drag down too much color, right? What are we doing? Oh, we're coming up here. Phthalo blue down here in the bottom, pulling it in, right? Leave your little white area in the middle, and you see how it starts dark and it works its way up to light, just like it normally would in nature. It would be darker right here closer to us, and then it would get lighter as it went away. Very cool, very easy, right? All you gotta do is have that liquid white on there. So we're gonna finish the edges, since we always finish the edges, even though the buyer has already purchased this painting, and it's gonna come with a frame anyway. We're gonna finish the edges just because that's what I do. We finish the sides. Now, if I were to continue blending with this same brush, there's too much paint on there, right? What are the 3 P's of Paint with Josh? Let me give you a quick little hint at number one. Number 1 up there. What's number 1 P of Paint with Josh? Anybody know? Anybody in the comments know while I wash this brush off? Because we all start with a different amount of number 1. All right, let's see. Wash all the color out of that brush and then beat it off on it. Beat it dry on a paper towel, like dab it off. Not beat it off, dab it off on a paper towel. Right, so who knows the number 1 P of Paint with Josh? Anybody? Lala says paint, first person I saw see it. Say it. Let's see, we got lots of people watching. Kathy says paint pressure practice. Cynthia knows all the 3 Ps. What about you guys over on YouTube? London is not going to be joining me in Knoxville, no. She's gonna be staying here with our daughter. Our daughter's still going to be in school at that time, so it's just me traveling. And if you didn't know, London and I are separated. He's here all the time. She was here the other week. It was awesome. We had her in the studio, and everybody wants her to come back, and I tried to get her to come back, and she's like, yeah, I don't know, I'm lazy. I'm like, I'm lazy too. I don't want to come up here and paint. Not every night, anyway. I'm thinking about taking off Sundays. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe Sunday we go dark, like Wednesdays. Do Sunday and Wednesdays. And that way I just don't have to paint every single day. I mean, I love it to death, but some of the times I get tired. Come on. Do you guys get tired? Nobody paints as much as I do. You guys don't know. You don't know because you don't paint as much as I do. Let's see. We're going to come in here, just blending it with our pressure, right? Pulling it from the side, watching our little light area shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink down. So we're going to get the more of our paint off of our brush. Go in and wash it again, back to the trash can to flick it, and then into the bucket to clean it. And then onto the paper towel to dab it clean or dab it dry or beat it dry off, whatever. Just like that. Right now, let's come into our lightest section, and we'll start to save this area in here. Right? Make it a little light as we blend back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. All we're doing is retaining that bit of bright spot, so when we come in with our clouds, it's going to look really cool. Gonna look really neat, you guys. Just like that. All depends on what we do with the color. We can pull it up, we can pull it down, we can spread it over here, we can pull it over there, we can do whatever we want to do with it, right? Very neat. Now let's wash the brush off for the last time, and then we're gonna throw some clouds in, guys. So, who knows how to throw in clouds? You ball them up like this, and you throw them at the canvas. That's how you throw in the clouds, like that, right? Let's see. So we're going to come in with a fan brush, and we're going to come in with some white. Now, the reason that we left this lighter color white section almost looks like a cloud all on its own. We didn't have to do anything, right? But we're going to come in here with our white. And get it all onto the brush. Get a fair amount, good old amount onto the brush. Because when we're on this blue, it's going to want to change to the blue, right? So let's get it right here. Come down through the white, saving a little bit of it back there, popping a little bit of it down here, and then we come down and go flying through there, right? Get a little bit more in this darker section, a little bit more white paint onto the canvas will allow us to spread it out a little bit more. Scoop up a little bit more over here. Maybe we pop in just a touch, wherever. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? I'm going to show you just exactly that it doesn't need to be perfect. Little Brooklyn came up here and she did clouds by herself. She's 7 years old and she did clouds, guys. So if she can do it, you can do it. Right now, all we're doing is just mixing our white, right? As it starts to blend down, start to judge off of our pressure. What do we want it to look like? As it starts to come down over here, light, and then a little bit more, and we can drag it a little bit further. We can blend it with those blue colors. We can have it, we can allow it to mix in and grow, become softer and softer and softer. The more little circles, the more little pressure that we're doing back and forth and back and forth. And then you can decide, what do you want it to look like? How bright you want to have it? How, whatever. It's up to you. It's totally up to you. So, where's my palette knife at? Ah, there it is. I don't know why I put stuff down in the wrong place and you can never find it again, right? So, anytime I do a gorgeous little sky that I love, I always have to add in a little contrail for London's mom. Her name was Karen. She would have been so bummed out by all the Karens in the world as of today, because she was not like that. She was a very sweet lady, never wanted to send any food back, didn't want to cause a fuss, like wouldn't go call your manager. She was an awesome lady. So every time that I paint a contrail into the sky, it represents Karen. Just so we never forget, right? Never forget. All right, so over there, now we're going to come in. Does anybody know the 3 favorite colors that Paint with Josh likes to use in order to create a very deep, dark shadow of a color? I'm going to grab them right here as you guys start to tell me what they are. 3 dark colors. And even though we're grabbing 4, both of these are the same color. Okay? Don't give me any crap about it. Just like that. What 3 dark colors are we going to use in order to create this very deep, dark shadow on this very clean palette that we're using today? So clean, I don't even know what to do with it. I'm used to this guy right here. There's the old guy, the old smudge. That's what we should call him. We got smudge and crystal. All right, let's use crystal today because she's crystal clear. Woo! See what I said? Okay, what are we doing? Crimson, black, and blue is what I'm looking for. Who's got it? I see right there, Attery1 or Atori1. I hope I'm saying it correctly. Crimson, black, and blue says Lynn Phillith over there on Facebook. So thank you guys all for answering the questions. That's how you get the shout outs. You answer the questions. You want to make Josh happy? You answer the questions. So we're going to come in here like this, grabbing up a whole chunk. We're going to try to show it to every single camera, nice and close. Just grossness, right? Just foul amount of dark paint. And then we're going to decide, what do we want it to look like? See, it came up in here and started dropping down. It popped up over here, right? Started climbing. Ooh, it's going to start to climb. Ochre is taking the paint, just another huge amount of chunky nastiness coming up in here. Deciding how high do we want our little peak to go, right? You have to cover over some of your clouds. You have to. It pushes them further away. It makes you want to look back over the top of the mountain and see what's back there, right? Take some of this paint and start to slide it out. Maybe eventually we'll start to pull it down this way, right? It doesn't all matter. We're going to hit this part with our brush. So as long as the top line is nice, that's all we're really worried about. And I like taking it and just sort of pulling it off a little bit flatter off to the side like that. Just like that. Perfect. Then we get this little stepping stone action as we start coming down. Right? You don't even have to make it a little peak. It doesn't have to be the most perfect little, pyramidal shaped peak. It doesn't have to be. You just want it to be crazy. At least I do. That's how I like painting mine. Then you can just spread it out. All we're doing, now we're going to take that paint, all that excess paint that we had, right, and scrape it off, pulling it down however which way you want our mountain to go. So maybe we pull it down this way. Our mountain will start to slide off, right, and go way off that way. But again, we're going to take it with the brush, so don't worry about what the paint is. All right, say this guy was coming down here, and just by scraping it away, we're keeping our mountain smaller. Have you ever started to do your mountain And then when you start pushing on it with your brush, oh, it goes way down because it just takes over your whole canvas. That's because you didn't scrape away at all this paint up here, right? And what I'm gonna do is sort of shape what I want my mountains to look like, and that way I can know which way to pull my brush as we're going back and forth, right? And this guy will come down in there, and these guys will look like straight down little cliffs. This guy's gonna come down like this, and then the back side's gonna come off this way, right? And it all depends on what you wanna do with your painting. I always, always, always say that. We're gonna take our 1-inch brush. Now, we've talked about the number 1 P of Paint with Josh, right? The amount of paint that we put up on the canvas or on the brush, right? Now, what's the second P? It's this, how far can we push that bit of paint, right? What's that word as we're pushing? What are we using? That word, the adjective, whatever it's called. I don't know, I'm not a wordsmith, right? But what are we using that second P of Paint with Josh as we pull straight down right here, right? Just straight down, right? Bringing them down. And then you go like this. A little bit more of that second P, you can cut right through there. Does anybody know what we're talking about? Pressure. That's it. Let's go right there. Tintin, I'm gonna pin your comment for pressure, right? The amount of pressure that we're pulling on the canvas determines how far the paint will grow down, right? All up to us. You push it real hard, it's gonna grow real far. Pull it real lightly, it's gonna go real soft. Right? So say we came down like this with this big old thing, and watch how we can cut right in front of the other two, right? Cutting in front of our straight down little cliffs, cutting in front of this guy there, so there'll be a little valley in between. All up to us on how we pull the brush, almost ending at this same spot, coming out here like a fan, going back to that same area, right? You can bring your little mountain down, pull it off to the side this way, all with our pressure. How far are you trying to get it to go to the edge? Do you want it to go all the way? Do you want to leave a little bit of mistiness around the side? What do you want yours to look like? I always say that. All up to you. I'm not teaching you. You're teaching me, right? You guys come teach me, because I don't know what the heck I'm doing anymore. But just like that. Come down, slide down, different ways, different things, different colors, right? Got to have it be the same kind of dark color, though. So every so often, you got to go back and add in just a little bit. But just like that, guys. Perfect, right? We got this little valley back in here. Little smiley face. All depends on how you pull your brush. Up to you guys. I always, always, always say that. So let's come in here with our phthalo blue. Just a little bit of blue, or a little bit of white. A lot more white than our blue anyway. We're going to come in here and mix it up. You want it to be blue, almost like the sky, right? Like the sky color. That's what we're shooting for. And the reason that the sky color is like that is because we took this blue and we started blending it with all that liquid white that was on the canvas, right? Now we're going to take a teeny little smidge of our dark color. We're going to mix that in with our blue, right? It's going to go this kind of grayish, bluish color like that. Now, wiping off the knife, we're going to go back. We're going to grab up double the amount of white that we grabbed for there and just the teeniest little scrape up of blue. And we're going to mix this guy into a much lighter color as it comes down here. Mixes up, right? It's not a pure white. It's a very, very, very bright blue color. And that's what we're going to use as our snowy highlights off in the distance, okay? So we come in here with our dark blue, well, our bluey shadows, and we start to pull them off down the side of our mountain. You can see they're not exactly the same color, but they're very close. And they just sort of stand out just enough to where it's not like, pow, you get this whole crazy bit of brightness over there, right? The further you pull it down, the further it's going to go down, all dependent on you. What do you want your mountain to look like, right? Now, say we had to sneak a little bit of shadowing back in off of this guy. So we're going to come down at a different angle, very lightly. We get to decide based on how hard we're pushing in there, right? How hard we're dragging the paint. The harder you do it, the more little pieces are going to get smushed, right? All your little broken bits that look so cool, those are all going to get smushed the harder and harder and harder that we do this. So you want to go very, very lightly as you start coming down back in there, right? And then, who knows, maybe there's just a few little streaks of blue, these little shadowy bits way off in the distance, back in these little cliffs that are pretty much coming straight down, right? And then we'll go back and we'll add our little highlights and stuff. Remember, you don't have to highlight every bit that's dark right now. You can leave some dark areas. So let's go back to our snow. We're gonna come up here, we're gonna let it grip on, then we're gonna start to very lightly pull it down in the same ways that we had set out our mountain by pulling it with those streaks, right? Now, let's say we leave a little bit of a dark space. come down in here, filling up that little spot, right? All of a sudden, even if you add the teeniest little bit of shadowing in there, a little bit of blue just acts like a little shadow. Oh, it's awesome. We'll come up here, a lot of brightness over the blue, and then have it come down, right? That way you project that there's a little bit of different raise level in the snow back here. As we come down through our bit, you can even take it, start to go right up into our little bit of snow down in there, right? Just having it be messy, because that's all it is. Just a big giant mess. You don't have to do much to paint like Josh. It's not hard. It's not hard, guys, to come up here and paint like old ugly paint with Josh, right? I'm telling you. Let's come over here. We're gonna grab some more of that white. Very light little pressure as you come out here, right? We're turning the knife, we're rotating it, we're trying to spin it. Only because there's very little amount of paint on the knife right here. I'm running out of my highlight snow. There we go, right? The harder you push out, the more things happen. Now we gotta go make up some more paint. So let's get a little bit of that blue, a little bit of the white, back in here, a little bit more of that blue. There we go. Gotta make sure it's the same color. Right there, right? Mix up, and that's not even enough. I don't know why I can never make up enough. Here we go. This guy come down, maybe it is enough, who knows? All depends on what we want it to look like, right? Maybe these guys back in here, and just a little bit of like, do I even have any paint on the knife? My goodness, littlest bit, right there, coming down, feeding it down, little streaks, little things that got picked up. This guy doesn't even get any light. He's in that super darkness, right? He's in the darkness, right there. Come down, slide in, get this super dark little pit in the back. Got our blue over here, and every so often, you can come up and make crazy angles and start going the other way to shape your mountain differently, right? Very cool, very simple, very easy little thing to do, and it's very, personable. It's all up to you. I know that's probably not the right word, but all up to you what you want to do and how you make it look. Now, we're going to come back over here. We're going to take our 2-inch brush, just like this guy, right? Big old monster 2-inch brush. If you saw that video of little Brooklyn painting her cloud, she was like, oh, this is the brush you use. I was like, it is the brush I use all the time. It's super cute. Super cute. So if you haven't seen it, it's on my Facebook and it's on my TikTok. It hasn't hit YouTube and Instagram yet, but it's over there. You can go watch it. Now, with very light pressure, guys. So light as we start to drag up. You see how it starts to soften the paint? Makes it look more blurry just a little bit. Right, so as we come in here, the lightest pressure, because if you touch it too hard, oh my goodness, it's going to drag all the way across your canvas, right? So I don't suggest that the beginners come all the way up the mountain. You guys stay down here, right? Where you can come down and smack it. It doesn't matter, right? Nothing matters underneath. We can always cover what happens underneath, but don't come all the way up the tip top, right? And if you really want to add some cool little bits of darkness, like some deep, shadowy rocks, or really jaggedy little things. You take these bits and we slide them right over the top, right? Those little rocks are little shadowy areas, or boulders, or spires of rock that just can't be covered by the snow, so they remain uncovered, nice and deep and dark like that. Very cool. Again, taking them so softly, right? We didn't move it, we didn't stretch it, we just kind of brushed over it just to nick it a little bit. We're just joshing with it. Just gonna josh with it, just a little bit. Just joshing with you, just a little. Not gonna do too much, just a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna take the same brush. All I did was just dab it off on a paper towel, just like, oh, don't do that on the new sticker, Josh. What are you doing? Brand new stickers, guys. Make a mess. Over 1 million followers. Fantastic. So we're gonna come in here with that same brush. We're just gonna start to slap at the canvas and smack at it. We come up here and we come down. We come down a little bit further, leaving a little bit of more exposed area, and then come up a little bit more. Maybe we grab something up into here and we start dragging it down the same direction that our mountain was going, right? And if you can make it all soft like that, you start to build more land down here that's just kind of fuzzy. You can't see it, right? But we don't want to go everywhere. You don't want to have it be everywhere. You don't need it to be all the same height or anything like that. And we don't want to cover up too much of our light color down here. Right, but all of a sudden now we've got this bit of mist around the side of this part of our mountain anyway. So if we were to come over here, are we going to do the same things? So we're going to tap down this way with the brush with all this color, or are we going to go this way the same way that we did it, right? We're going to go the same direction as our knife, or we're going to go opposite. I want you to type it in the comments. Same or opposite? What do you think? Are we going to take this and start going this way with it, Or are we going to take it and we're just going to mush it over everything that we just did? You guys tell me what we're going to do. And I'm going to come up here and just soften these last little touchers. Woo! Little babies. Oh, I love them. Tell me, what was I saying? Soft or what now? Oh, same or opposite. Okay. Let's see. You guys are all correct. What was that? Eating rice on a buffalo balcony? Is that the name? Well, if so, you got your name pinned, if I'm correct, for saying the same direction, right? We want to go the same direction that we were going with our knife. So if we started coming down here, we need to turn the brush and start dabbing down this way, right? Getting all that mist to take everything that way. And then again, very softly, swiping it up from the bottom. You can even come in here with little circles and do whatever you want. Right? It all depends on what you want yours to look like. Maybe it came up in there, drug some of that white down. Who knows? All up to us. We don't have to do anything. Doesn't have to look like anything. Can all, whoa, that was coming back towards my shirt very fast. I was going to go, it all doesn't matter. Hey, double time right there. That was cool. So, I do tricks in my spare time. That one was not successful. It was not successful, but it's fine. Okay, let's wash this brush off. We'll come in. We're only going to do 6 trees. We're going to do 3 little pine trees. We're going to do 2 sticky trees over here. 2 pine trees and 2 sticky trees. 1 pine tree and 1 long sticky tree on this side with a little bit of river in between some far off forest, and then we're going to be done, guys. So start coming up with a name for this painting. What do you want to call it? And then maybe, just maybe, we'll let you name it, right? This one already has a buyer, in which case I'm not going to know what he wants to name it anyway because I'm filming on all 3 platforms. So this is why we need more devices. I need another phone, I need another something to stream from is what I need. And don't give me that. I've already got 2 phones, right? 2 phones, 1 iPad Pro, 12.9 Max Mega, whatever the crap it's called, and that's still